right now.
Coming up, shutdown begins. We are day one into a government standstill. We'll show you what members of Congress are saying today and what could happen next. Also, millions impacted. The shutdown is making the future of tens of millions of Americans uncertain. We'll run through the numbers of who is going to be affected. And taking precautions. The flu is the deadliest we've seen in years. We'll show you what some nursing homes are doing to protect their residents.
Local, experienced, trusted. This is KETK Live at 5. Your home for the Winter Olympics and Super Bowl 52.
Good afternoon, I'm Daniel Pierce, and thank you very much for joining us this Saturday. Well, we're going to begin with the weather. After the coldest week I think a lot of us have ever had, these past few days have virtually felt like summer. But a change is coming. Meteorologist Brian Alonso joins us live from the East Texas Storm Center. Brian, it's been a cloudy day so far. What's coming our way?
Yes, it's just like you said, Daniel. It's hard to believe that we were just talking about some breaking temperatures over the past week here. But look at this. We already have a storm system already getting better organized, especially off towards our west, especially towards Arizona and parts of New Mexico. This cold front will be continuing to move off towards the east as we head toward tomorrow. And the Storm Prediction Center has already issued much of East Texas here into a marginal risk for severe weather. So what exactly does that mean? We're going to go into more detail about this and what you can expect. We're going to take you hour by hour on the Futurecast coming up here in just a couple of minutes. Daniel?
Thank you, Brian. In our Washington report, day one of the government shutdown continues as Congress argues over how to pass a spending bill. Both chambers are at work in the Capitol today trying to find a compromise before Monday morning. KHK's Anna Warnicki is in Washington and shows us what's being discussed.
Lawmakers here in Washington are in crisis mode, but instead of working together to come up with a bipartisan solution, many of them are still pointing fingers.
Get the government open.
Tennessee Republican Congressman Chuck Fleischman says Democrats got them into this mess, and it should be Democrats who get them out.
They've made a colossal mistake. They hurt the American people with this. They need to reverse course.
But Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer says it's the Republicans who aren't willing to compromise.
The Republican leadership can't get a tumultuous president on board with anything, and they don't offer us any compromises on their own.
It all comes down to DACA, or the Deferred Action for Childhood Arrivals program. It's the program that protects immigrants who arrived in the U.S. as children from deportation.
It starts at the top.
Democrats say they want a DACA deal attached to the spending bill, but Republicans like Texas Congressman Jody Arrington say they aren't willing to start negotiating DACA until the government is back up and running.
It's unbelievable to think that Democrats would actually put American citizens at risk, our military at risk, shut the American government down on people who are here illegally.
The Dreamers are important, but there's much more at stake here.
But Texas Democrat Lloyd Doggett says he's willing to keep DACA out of the spending bill if Republicans promise a vote on DACA in the next few days.
It doesn't have to be included in this agreement, but there has to be a firm understanding of how we address that.
Texas Democrat Henry Cuellar agrees. He says lawmakers need to work out their differences.
You got to put people in one room, people that know the subject, sit down, roll up your sleeves, and get the job done. The people are frustrated.
Today's shutdown also marks President Trump's one-year anniversary in office. The president fired off a series of tweets today, all blaming the Democrats for the shutdown, calling it a nice present. In Washington, I'm Anna Warnicki.
Now, during the shutdown, Social Security as well as Medicare checks will still go out, but visa and passport processing could stop in their tracks. Now, the president not only is blaming Democrats for the shutdown, but saying they are not supportive of our military. He tweeted this morning, quote, "Democrats are holding our military hostage over their desire to have unchecked illegal immigration. Can't let that happen," end quote. The president also responded to critics who blame Republicans for the shutdown since they control both the House as well as the Senate. Part of his tweet saying, for those asking, the Republicans only have 51 votes in the Senate and they need 60. That is why we need to win more Republicans in the 2018 election, end quote. Now, it's unknown how long this shutdown will last. A frame of reference could be the 2013 shutdown, which lasted about 2 weeks. But while those in Congress decide what to do next, more than 10 million Americans are left hanging. For starters, back in 2013, 850,000 government employees were furloughed each day, which is about the same now. This year, around 9 million children, a part of the Children's Health Insurance Program, could lose their health care. 1.3 million active duty military members will have to work without pay starting February 1st. And about 417 national parks and 19 Smithsonian museums will be closed. Meanwhile, members of Congress will continue to work and get paid. Of course, we will continue to follow and update you on the shutdown on our website, easttexasmatters.com. Well, hundreds of thousands of activists gathered in cities across America today on the one-year anniversary of the massive Women's March. This year, many men and women are standing in solidarity to protest the president. Many marchers wore pink hats, while others held up signs expressing their opposition with the current administration. And with this government shutdown, half of the Health and Human Services Department employees would be furloughed. This includes 61% of those at the CDC during a deadly flu epidemic. NBC's Dr. John Torres shows us the latest numbers on this emergency across the country, which has now killed 30 children.
Temperature okay. It's just a couple beeps.
When Tori Kerbler's daughter, Cambry, woke up with a 105-degree fever this morning, she rushed her to the doctor.
What do you think of that she might have the flu?
It scares me because I see the horror stories. So as a mom, you know, you think the worst, so I hope it's not.
She's right to be concerned. Already this season, 30 children, many of them healthy to begin with, died, compared to just 5 deaths last year at this time.
So this is the tent?
Yeah, this is their surge hospital.
The frightening rise in flu cases is forcing hospitals across the country to use mobile triage units for the overflow of patients.
It's like an ER.
It's a full functioning ER. Anything that I can do in the main ER, I can do out here.
This one in the parking lot of Lehigh Valley Health Network in Allentown.
We put this up during flu season because we've seen a massive rise in our volume and surges, and so we wanted to get the patients out and be able to be seen as efficiently as possible.
In some places, hospitals are restricting visitors, rescheduling surgeries, even FaceTiming appointments. And now, new evidence that keeping flu patients isolated is more vital than ever. A report out today says the flu virus may be spread not only by coughing and sneezing, but also by just breathing. Exhaled virus particles can stay in the air for minutes or even hours.
So if you're sick, stay home.
If you're sick, stay home. Yeah, don't go to work, don't go to school, these kind of things.
That was Dr. John Torres reporting. And since 30 children are dead from the nationwide flu outbreak, many Texas school districts are closing. East Texas is no longer #1 in the nation for flu cases. However, we are still #2. Many schools are closing and are undergoing a deep cleaning. If you do have flu-like symptoms, as mentioned, stay home and limit contact with others. Meanwhile, Texas nursing homes are taking extra precautions, including some who are discouraging visitors. In North Texas, a nursing facility is asking people to not come and visit their loved ones if they themselves feel under the weather. Reason being, the flu is much worse this year, and because of its severity, it could have a greater impact on the elderly.
Our patients here, we certainly do not want them to get the flu because they are older and it is harder for them to get over it. They do have other complications caused by the flu, and so we're really, really strongly discouraging anyone with any kind of illness from coming in at this time.
Now, if you do begin to feel sick, instead of visiting a loved one, it's probably safer to give them a call. Texas Rangers are investigating an officer-involved shooting in Gladewater, which sent one person to the hospital. It happened overnight Friday at an unknown location in the city. An officer shot one person who reportedly pulled a gun at police. That person was taken to a local hospital where their condition is unknown. No law enforcement official was injured in this shooting. The name of a woman killed in a car accident in Tyler last night has been released. State troopers say the victim is 36-year-old Shanita Johnson. The accident happened at around 7:30. Police say she was walking on the inside lane of Highway 31 West near Orchard Drive when she was hit. Johnson died at the scene. The driver of the vehicle was not injured. Coming up next here on KHK's Live at 5, the Winter Olympics. They are less than 3 weeks away, and several Texans will be representing the U.S.
I feel like it was just as exciting as making it the first time, maybe a little bit sweeter the second time. So
We'll introduce you to the Texas athletes and get their take on what it's like competing in the Olympic Games. And an East Texas rivalry in women's basketball. The Lady Apaches faced off against the Trinity Valley Cardinals this evening. Garrett Sanders breaks down how they did.
And it's kind of hard to believe that we were talking about some record-breaking cold temperatures, snow, ice, and now we look for the potential for a few strong to maybe severe storms. I'll let you know what you can expect as the storm system gets closer to East Texas. Details right after the break. Stay with us.